Debt can feel like a heavy weight on your shoulders, especially in your 40s and 50s when you're trying to save for retirement and enjoy life. But what if I told you there's a way to pay it off faster without completely sacrificing the things you love? Hi, I'm Wendy, and welcome back to Midlife Wealth Journey, where we help midlifers like you build a secure financial future. Today, we're tackling a big topic: paying off debt faster in midlife. I've been in debt myself, and I know how stressful it can be, but I also know it's possible to get out from under it. In this video, I'll share how I paid off $18,500 in credit card debt, introduce you to someone who cleared $25,000 in debt in just 2 years, and give you practical strategies to pay off your debt faster, starting today. Let's get started. Why paying off debt matters in midlife. Let's talk about why paying off debt is so important in your 40s and 50s. At this stage, you're likely dealing with a mix of debts, maybe credit cards, a mortgage, or car loans, while also trying to save for retirement. High-interest debt, like credit cards with rates of 15% or more, can drain your finances faster than you might realize. For example, if you have $10,000 in credit card debt at 18% interest and only make minimum payments of $300 a month, it'll take you over 4 years to pay it off, and you'll pay nearly $4,000 in interest. That's money you could be using to build your retirement savings or enjoy life. Paying off debt also reduces financial stress. When you're not worried about monthly payments or interest piling up, you can focus on your goals, like saving for retirement, as we discussed in our last video. Plus, being debt-free gives you more flexibility. You can redirect the money you were spending on debt payments to investments, travel, or other things that matter to you. I felt a huge sense of freedom when I paid off my credit card debt, and it allowed me to start investing $900 a month for retirement, which is growing thanks to compound interest. My story: how I paid off $18,500 in credit card debt. Let me share my own journey of paying off debt. A few years ago, at 42, I had $18,500 in credit card debt. I'd racked it up over the years, some from unexpected medical bills, some from overspending on things like dining out and gadgets. The interest rates were high, around 17%, and I was paying $400 a month just to keep up with minimum payments, but the balance barely budged. I felt trapped, like I'd never get out of debt. I decided to get serious and make a plan. First, I used the budgeting basics we talked about a few videos ago to track my spending and free up extra money. I cut back on dining out and canceled subscriptions I didn't need, which saved me $200 a month. Then, I started a side hustle as a freelance project manager, which brought in an extra $600 a month, as I shared in our income-boosting video. I decided to use the debt avalanche method, where you focus on the highest interest debt first. My highest rate card had a $7,000 balance at 19% interest, so I put all my extra money, $800 a month, toward it while making minimum payments on my other cards. It took me 9 months to pay off that first card, and I felt a huge sense of relief. I then rolled that $800 a month into the next highest rate card, which had a $5,500 balance at 16%. That took another 7 months. By the time I turned 44, I'd paid off all $18,500 in just under 2 years. The key was focusing on one debt at a time, staying consistent, and using extra income to speed up the process. Now, I'm debt-free except for my mortgage, and I've redirected that $800 a month to my retirement savings. It's been life-changing. A real-life story: how Karen cleared $25,000 in debt. Now, let me tell you about Karen, a 45-year-old graphic designer who paid off $25,000 in debt in just 2 years. Karen had a mix of debt: $15,000 in credit cards, $6,000 on a car loan, and $4,000 in medical bills. She was earning $60,000 a year, but after bills, she barely had anything left, and the interest on her credit cards was eating up her income. She felt overwhelmed and embarrassed, like she was failing financially. Karen decided to use the debt snowball method, where you pay off the smallest debts first to build momentum. Her smallest debt was the $4,000 medical bill, which had a low interest rate but was a constant stressor. She used a budgeting app to find $300 extra a month by cutting back on subscriptions and shopping, and she put that toward the medical bill while making minimum payments on her other debts. It took her 14 months to pay it off, but crossing that debt off her list gave her a huge confidence boost. Next, she tackled the $6,000 car loan, putting the $300 a month, plus the $150 she'd been paying on the medical bill, toward it. That took another 12 months. With 2 debts gone, Karen felt unstoppable. She then focused on her $15,000 credit card debt, increasing her payments to $600 a month by picking up freelance design work on the side. It took her 25 months, but by 47, she was debt-free. Karen told me that paying off her debt gave her a sense of control she hadn't felt in years, and she's now saving $500 a month for retirement. Her story shows that with a plan and persistence, you can pay off debt faster than you think. Strategies to pay off debt faster. Now that you've heard my story and Karen's, let's dive into some practical strategies to pay off debt faster in midlife. These are methods you can start using today, no matter how much debt you have. First, choose a debt repayment method that works for you. The debt avalanche method, which I used, focuses on paying off the highest interest debt first to save on interest over time. List your debts from highest to lowest interest rate. Make minimum payments on all of them, and put extra money toward the highest rate debt. Once it's paid off, roll that payment into the next highest rate debt. The debt snowball method, which Karen used, focuses on the smallest debt first to build momentum. List your debts from smallest to largest balance, pay the smallest off first, and roll the payments into the next smallest. Both methods work. The best one is the one you'll stick to. Second, increase your payments by cutting expenses. Look at your budget and find areas to trim, like dining out, entertainment, or subscriptions. Even $100 a month can make a difference. For example, if you have $10,000 in credit card debt at 18% and pay $400 a month instead of the minimum $300, you'll pay it off in 28 months instead of 48, saving over $1,500 in interest. I cut $200 a month from my budget, and it helped me pay off my debt faster. Third, boost your income and use the extra money for debt. Start a side hustle, ask for a raise, or sell unused items, like old electronics or furniture. Every extra dollar you earn can go straight to your debt. My freelance work added $600 a month, which was key to paying off my $18,500 in debt. Even $200 a month extra can cut months or years off your debt timeline. Fourth, consider debt consolidation if you have high-interest credit card debt. This means taking out a lower interest loan, like a personal loan at 8%, to pay off your credit cards. You'll save on interest and simplify your payments into one monthly bill. Just make sure the new loan has a lower rate and avoid racking up new credit card debt. I didn't use this method, but it can work well if your credit score is good enough to qualify for a low rate. Finally, negotiate with your creditors. Call your credit card companies and ask for a lower interest rate. Many will reduce it if you've been a good customer. Even dropping from 18% to 15% can save you hundreds over time. You can also ask for a hardship program if you're struggling. They might lower your payments or pause interest for a few months. It never hurts to ask, and the worst they can say is no. Overcoming common debt. Payoff challenges. Paying off debt in midlife comes with challenges, so let's talk about how to overcome them. First, feeling overwhelmed by the amount you owe. If you have $30,000 in debt, it can feel impossible to tackle. Break it down into smaller goals, like paying off one card at a time, as Karen did with her snowball method. Celebrate each win to stay motivated. Second, unexpected expenses. Life happens. Maybe your car breaks down or you have a medical bill. That's why an emergency fund is crucial. Even $1,000 can help you avoid adding to your debt when surprises come up. I had my $9,000 emergency fund, which saved me from going back into debt when my furnace broke. Third, staying motivated. Paying off debt can take years, and it's easy to lose steam. Set small rewards for yourself, like a $20 treat after paying off a card, to keep going. I treated myself to a pizza night with my family after paying off my first card, and it kept me focused. Also, track your progress visually, like a debt payoff chart, to see how far you've come. Finally, avoiding new debt. It's tempting to use credit cards again once you've paid them off, especially if you're used to relying on them. To prevent this, stick to a budget, use cash or debit for daily expenses, and keep your credit card limits low. I froze my credit cards in a block of ice, literally, to stop myself from using them while I was paying off debt. What to do after paying off debt. Once you've paid off your debt, you'll feel a huge sense of freedom. But don't stop there. Redirect the money you were paying toward debt into your financial goals. For me, that meant investing $900 a month for retirement, which is growing thanks to compound interest. You could also build your emergency fund to 3 to 6 months of expenses, save for a big goal like a vacation, or increase your retirement contributions. The key is to keep the momentum going so you're building wealth, not just staying out of debt. Paying off debt faster in midlife is a game changer for your financial future. I paid off $18,500 in 2 years. Karen cleared $25,000, and you can do it too with the right plan. I want to hear from you. Which debt payoff strategy are you going to try? Maybe the avalanche method, cutting expenses, or starting a side hustle? Drop a comment below, and I'll cheer you on. If you found this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next video. We're going to be talking about building an emergency fund in midlife, and you won't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.